Hi everybody, welcome to the 93rd AGM of the National Council of Jewish Women of Australia, Victoria section. I would like to start by respectfully acknowledging the Boonwurrung people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional owners of the land where we are meeting, and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and to any who may be here tonight. In so doing, I acknowledge the ongoing connection of the traditional owners to this land. I'm Miriam Bass and I'm the President of National Council Victoria till the end of the evening. This is a very strange time due to the COVID pandemic. So our AGM this year will be very different to past years, being online. It's the first time we've done anything like this and we've worked really hard to put it together. And despite all our plans, we've had a bit of a hiccup tonight. Our tech guy's got a tree on his house, so he can't be here. So we've got our emergency plan in place. So I'm thanking you in advance for your patience as we proceed. I'm actually really sad that I can't see you all in person and or acknowledge your VIPs. I know there's about 70 people the last time I looked, but I can't see who you are, so I can't acknowledge you individually. So I will welcome all who have logged on, members, associate members, honorary life members, past presidents, national board members, circle of women, supporters, friends and guests, and say protocols observed. Tonight, we mark some really important milestones in our history as we inaugurate a new president and honour those who have achieved or made significant contributions to either National Council or the community. With the handover to new leadership, we also mark the end of a period of transformation which began in 2012 under the leadership of then President Vivian Brass. Before we get into the actual proceedings of the evening, because this is a little different, I need to get a few housekeeping things organised. So you probably all know that only financial members are eligible to vote on the resolutions. So if you're a financial member, you would have received an email to vote with the election buddy, or you may have submitted a vote before the meeting. So if you are eligible to vote and you haven't voted before the meeting, please log into the link you have received from Election Buddy, and you would have received this at 7 p.m. this evening. You'll need to enter your username and password, which is in the email that was sent to you from Election Buddy, not from National Council, from Election Buddy, and open the voting tool. So keep that window open and also keep your Zoom window open so you can see all our happy faces, and also you can vote when prompted to do so. If you have any issues with voting, please contact our administrators. We've got standing by to help you through the office email, office@ncjwavic.org.au, or the office phone number, and they will give you a hand. So any attendees tonight may participate in the business of the meeting by asking questions through the Q&A box, which will be managed by Leanne Basser. If more than one person asks a similar question, Leanne will summarise and say it's from more than one person. So tonight you can participate by voting and asking questions or making comments through the Q&A box. Again, I thank you for your patience as we're all learning, and hope that everybody's internet holds up. I know already some people's using hotspots and stuff, so it is what it is, as they say. So in terms of the register of attendees for the purpose of the minutes, we're using the registrations as our list of attendees, which will be added to our minutes for next year. Can someone advise me if we have the requisite number of members, voting members present to get into the business of the meeting? Just pause for a moment so that, yes, I've been advised from Cynthia, who's watching that from the back end. Thank you, Cynthia. We also have a number of apologies that have been received prior to the meeting, and that will be recorded by the Secretary in our minutes. If there are any other apologies tonight from people, could you please put that in the Q&A box? That would be good. And could someone put my niece, Marnie Rosenberg, in the Q&A box because she's an apology. Didn't know she had to register. Never mind. I'll now call on Secretary Helen Lewin for the confirmation of the 2019 minutes. Over to you, Helly.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks, Miriam. You will have all received a copy of the minutes of the 2019 Annual General Meeting of the Association, which was sent to you in the papers that were sent last week. Now, if you have any changes or comments or questions, can you please put them in the Q&A box?
There are no questions or comments, Helly.
Thanks, Leanne. As there are no questions or comments received, I move that the meeting accepts the minutes of the last AGM as a true and accurate record of the AGM of this association. Sally Davis has agreed to second the motion, so I need you now to please vote if you are members that vote using the election buddy, and again, if you haven't already done so. Could we please have the voting slide up? I've been advised that the vote's been carried, so I'll now pass back to Miriam Bass, our President. To present the annual report.
Thanks, Helly. So I'm pleased to provide my commentary on the activities of the Association for the year ending 31st of March 2020. And I'll try really hard not to cry because in our practice, it wasn't good. The activities I will report on fall in two parts: BC, which is before COVID, and then life with COVID. I will begin speaking about some highlights that came BC and then our response to COVID. So to the highlights of the financial year 2019-2020. Our gender equality campaign was a highlight. National Council Victoria made a big impact as an advocate for gender equality. After 2 years of research and planning, our gender equality campaign, #MakeSpaceForHer, was launched in 2019. The campaign aims to ensure that Jewish women in Victoria are equally represented in leadership positions within our community and in community events. We believe it's important for community organisational leadership to reflect their constituency. And we know that gender diversity in the leadership and in panels leads to better decision-making and organisational performance. Our campaign was widely promoted on various media channels, including being featured on the front page of the Australian Jewish News in June 2019. Community leadership were very supportive, with the JCCV, Zionism Victoria, and the Zionist Federation of Australia being the first organisations to sign on to our Gender Equality Pledge. I would like to acknowledge and thank Anna Seri, the former chair of the Advocacy Subcommittee, Debbie Fleischer, the current chair, and all the members of the Advocacy Committee who were part of the development and launch of the campaign. Thank you to Ronit Joel, Irina Rivka-Peston, Karen Zelwa, Anne Wallner, Lexi Koval, Amy Roshman, Karen Stock, Romy Grace, and Angie Fox, who put so much effort into this important initiative. The campaign launch of around 90 people was organised by our Next Gen committee, comprising Lindy Suskind, Bianca Janova, Anna Seri, and Moran Devere, and was held at the home of Gil and Moran Devere. Thank you to the hosts and to the Next Gen committee for your help. The list of the 33 organisations that have signed the Gender Equality Pledge as of the 31st of March this year is in our annual report, which can be accessed on our website. Looking ahead, Monash University's Australian Centre for Jewish Civilisation has announced a major new initiative to facilitate research into gender issues in the Australian Jewish community. The Karen Baker Memorial Endowment for Gender Research, whereby the ACJC will partner each year with an organisation in the community to undertake research related to women or gender that will directly benefit the organisation and impact the community more widely. Well, we have been chosen to partner in the first project exploring issues of gender equity, inclusiveness and safety in Jewish communal organisations. This research will support our ongoing campaign, #MakeSpaceForHer, and it's particularly timely in light of the recent investigation by the AGN, which revealed a level of gender-based discrimination, bullying and sexual harassment in the Jewish community organisations. Anyway, we look forward to the results of the research, and details of our other advocacy work over the past year are also in the annual report. On to programs. So Victoria provides a range of unique programs for women across the life cycle. Over the past year, our Caring Mums volunteers and staff supported over 100 socially isolated new mothers as they transitioned into motherhood, and also our staff and volunteers ran 2 trainings for new volunteers. Thank you to all the donors and funders that support this program. The JAM project supports 2 different age groups, 15 to 16-year-old girls who are navigating adolescence, and the buddies, who are young women in their 20s that are developing their skills in mentoring, active listening, and developing a sense of community. In 2019, there were 34 participants in this program, and this year there are 32 participants. And the evaluation of the first 4 years of this project is currently underway. Thanks to Gandel Philanthropy, the Spotlight Foundation and the Beeson Family Foundation for supporting the program, and to Gandel Philanthropy for funding the formal evaluation. The board also commissioned an external review of the suite of programs we currently offer older women and some men. Dr. Susan Feldman and Dr. Harriet Rademacher completed this important work last year. New directions are currently being considered and activities will be developed as resources and capacities allow. Our Golden Age clubs were to have a celebration for their 20th anniversary this year, but this has been postponed for obvious reasons. Funded by the Claims Conference, this program for Holocaust survivors from the former Soviet Union living in social housing in Paran, South Melbourne and St Kilda provide 230 participants with social connections and a link to their Jewish heritage. It's actually remarkable that this program, initiated by Risha Rosen and Rimmer Sverdlin all those years ago, is still going strong. While other organisations provide services to this cohort, no one provides the social support of our program. Moving on to our digital transformation now. And we all know that digital assets have become increasingly important, and haven't we learnt this during the pandemic? The board has embarked on a number of projects to transform our digital infrastructure. A branding and style guide, dedicated customer relationship management system, and contemporary website projects all commenced during the year. Probably tried to do too much, but there you go. New branding was launched in March 2020, and this is part of it on our new logo on the back there. And an enormous amount of thought was put into this to ensure that the branding retained the heritage and soul of our organisation, but bring it into the 2020s. I'd like to thank Lauren Basser for the wonderful designs, and have a look in our annual report for the whole suite of brandings under this logo. Having outgrown our current database, it was decided to invest in a new CRM, customer relationship management software, and we chose Salesforce because it was considered the best integrated system for data analysis, donor, membership and event management, as well as payment processing and receipting. This system is going live very soon and will allow us to engage more effectively and efficiently with our stakeholders. And as our website is married to the database, a new website will also be completed very soon. I'd like to thank board member Judy Hacker for managing the website and branding project, important projects, and to all the staff that contribute to their development and who are actually implementing these projects. Onto our profile, which has seen a bit of a boost over the past year, And our social media presence in particular has been boosted by our board observer, Kelly Hartman, who developed our digital marketing strategy together with social media officer, Dorrit Jaffe, and content input from all the program staff. As a result, our social media presence over various platforms has grown exponentially. To illustrate our reach, a recent Facebook post regarding the use of face masks and babies reached almost 13,000 people. And as well as social media, we also have been receiving very generous mainstream community media coverage in the AGM. Now, life with COVID, which hit us in March, as we all know. We swung into crisis management, determined to continue our mission during this difficult time. We took strong and decisive action to keep our people safe and continue serving our community. We quickly pivoted most of our program offerings online. Our program participants have been incredibly grateful for our continued support, which underscores the need and value of social connection for mental well-being throughout our lives, and even more so during this crisis. Board members also moved quickly, recasting our budget and assessed the pandemic's possible impact on our finances. Happily, our applications for JobKeeper and cash flow boosts from state and federal governments were successful. However, we are already seeing grantors reduce or reorient their giving, and this is going to impact us in the coming year. A number of initiatives were quickly implemented using our new tools, newsletters to provide important information and coping strategies, online get-togethers to continue social connections for new mothers and the JAM participants, care packages for Golden Age Club members, keeping in touch with seniors through Skype, telephone conferences, Zoom get-togethers, and individual outreach. We've also been able during this time to reach further afield to socially isolated mothers, including one in Shepparton, due to the Caring Mums program being offered online. I am so proud and grateful for how quickly we have been able to transition and the wonderful efforts and innovations made by both staff and our volunteers. There is no doubt that the investment in our branding, together with our digital marketing strategy, also positioned us extremely well when we pivoted to online communication channels. I'd like to thank the program staff, Michelle Kornberg, Naomi Swart, Robin Davis, Liat Azule, Helen Nathan, and Nellie Korishina for their amazing efforts, while they themselves were coping with the impact of lockdown in their own family lives. Thank you to Leanne, our CEO, for providing steady leadership to her staff during this stressful time. On to our events. So our annual report shows the myriad of events that were held last year, but bushfires and COVID resulted in the cancellation of most of the planned events scheduled for February and March this year. However, we were lucky to hold our thank you to supporters and volunteers even before the lockdown. And we appreciate the generosity of Jeannie Pratt and Fiona Gaminda, who first hosted us at the beautiful venue Raheen. Our events are currently being overhauled in the light of COVID, with the assistance of our new volunteer events coordinator, Danielle Rogers, and our second board observer, Nicole Gandel. Now, our building project. Many hours were spent over this past year by our building committee of Karen Stock, Anne Wallner, Bruce Josky, and myself, as well as our legal advisors at ABL, to complete the legal arrangements for our joint venture with the Theodore Herzl Club to refurbish their site at Balaclava Road in return for proportional ownership. In light of COVID, the venture was re-evaluated and all known risks were extensively analysed with the assistance of Justin Greenstein, member of our Governance and Risk Committee. We believe that this project is actually even more important now, given the physical distancing requirements which are likely to be required for some time to come, and which our building is totally inadequate for. In addition, our analysis has shown that the Herzl project is more financially viable given the funds that we have available for the build. However, despite our hard work, I'm afraid the agreements have not been finalised in time for tonight's AGM. We have been working with our legal advisors and our community partner on 7 legal documents that have had to be drafted and scrutinised by both sides. But I can assure you, we are really, really close to finalising. It's really going to happen, and very soon. Our lawyers want to see it done just as much as we do. We will then be able to move into the more exciting design phase of the project, and it really will be worth it in the end, as the new building will provide a larger built space with better design possibilities and more car parking. So thank you to Justin, Karen, Anne and Bruce, and our pro bono legal advisors at ABL, Joey Borenstein, Stephanie Campbell and Dorian Henneran for their contributions. You can imagine what the value of ABL's pro bono contribution might be for this amount of legal work. So now to look ahead. Knowing the retirements of the President, the Vice President and the Treasurer would be occurring tonight, board leadership transition has been worked on over the past 18 months. Much thought has gone on into preparing the new board leadership, and I have been working together with Helly all of this year really closely. She's going to make a great president. We've got a new strategic plan which will provide the blueprint for action by the incoming board, and our new CEO, Alexandra Silva, will be joining us on the 1st of September. She's already attending meetings and reading heaps of background material and getting ready to take on her role. Alex was selected after an extensive search with the support of Deborah Komisarov from Fisher Leadership. Alex is dynamic and innovative and comes to us from the US with significant experience in both the Jewish and broader community. We believe she is the right person to take Victoria to the next phase of its development. Welcome to Alex, and I'm sure she will introduce herself to many of you in the coming months by Zoom or when allowed in person. Leanne Basser, our current CEO, is stepping down soon as she heads towards a less hectic life and hopefully more travel, and I'm going to say more about her later. So we've done as much as we can to ensure the smooth transition. Plus, Hannah, Debbie and I and Leanne are still going to be around if we're needed, and we're actually all going to take different roles in the coming years. So we're not running away, and they know where to find us. So to finish, I'd like to finish with my thank yous. Thank you to our patron Lady Southey for her continued interest and support. Thank you to all our donors and funders for your support and advice. Thank you to all the members for your support, and I've received some lovely messages and even some little presents on my retirement. Much appreciated. Thank you to our hardworking staff whose commitment, determination and innovation makes incredible things happen, even in a pandemic. And I'd like to, at this point, thank Dorit Jaffe, Shani Ben-Hur, Michelle Slatum, Sivan Presma, Cynthia Anna Thorai, and Cheryl Zaltzman for all their work that is so important for getting money in, looking after the money, looking after membership, looking after the data and our social media, and for working so hard on all our projects this year. They've done a great job, and thank you so much. And thank you also to Leanne. I'm going to say more later. Thank you to the volunteers who contribute so much. Thank you to the committee members for their advice and contribution, and to the board. Thank you so much. Your friendship, support and counsel was much valued and appreciated. I'm proud to have been the leader of such a fine board of exceptional women. Hold it, one moment. Each year at this point in my commentary, I acknowledge the achievements of all those that came before in both leadership or other volunteer roles to remind us, excuse me, that it's their legacy that we build on. And tomorrow I'm going to take my place as a past leader, and I look forward to seeing new leadership build and achieve further in the coming year. I'm going to be cheering you on. That concludes my report, And if you have any questions, could you please put them in the Q&A box? And Leanne will let me know what they are. What?
Nina says, no question, just congratulations.
Oh,
there's more coming. Sam Broder, some unusual gentleman, says, what will be the first thing you do with all the spare time you'll now have? Katie Allen says, not a question, just wanted to say an enormous thank you for your immense contribution to not only NCJWA Vic, but Women Victoria wide.
Oh.
Melinda Jones says, where do you guys get your jewellery? David Southwick, well done, Miriam, on your wonderful leadership. Oh, not just Katie Allen, it was also Lexi Koval, who wanted to say an enormous thank you to you for your contribution.
That's nice. And Sam Broder, my son, I'll be around to bug you.
Yeah, so Jennifer Huppert says, Miriam, I just wanted to acknowledge your contribution to NCJWA Vic as over so many years.
Oh, thank you. That's lovely. Thank you very much. Can I go on?
I think so.
Good, thank you. All right. I move that the meeting accepts the annual report of the activities of the association as a true and accurate record, and Vivian Brass has agreed to second the motion. If you could please vote now using the election buddy if you haven't already done so. And could we please have the voting slide up? The motion has been carried. Thank you very much. I'd now like to hand over to Hannah Greenberg to present the Treasurer's report. And now over to you, Hannah.
Thanks, Miriam. It's my 8th year of having to follow you, and it's just not fair because you get to do all the exciting parts and I do all the accounting boring parts, but so be it. This is my 8th year as Treasurer of National Council and my last year as Treasurer, so my final Treasurer's report. I present this report for National Council of Victoria, the financial year 2019-20, with very mixed feelings. I'm sad that I cannot speak to people in person about our wonderful organisation because of COVID, but I'm pleased with the performance of the 3 entities of National Council. So I'll start with National Council of Jewish Women Victoria Community Services financial results 2019-20, which shows a surplus, which sounds very good, of 138,000. Now that's exciting. This profit is higher than the adjusted profit shown last year of 99,000. This is largely due to an increase in donations. Last year I explained the effect of accounting standards on actual results. Last year the standards affected profit figures by accounting for the revaluation of assets, including the buildings. This is not the case this year, but this is the first year that we have accounted for the value of donated services, our volunteer hours. Community services, this was around 141,000. This does not affect our profit as it's offset by the exact amount as an expense. We've been very conservative in our estimation of the value of volunteer hours, as it is always better to underestimate than to overestimate. The 138,000 surplus is largely due to our successful annual giving campaign in community services, and also in an increase of our circle of women funds for the year ending 2020. Our expenses in community services have increased as predicted last year due to wages. As I said, last year expenditures are hard to contain in a not-for-profit organisation that relies on staff to organise programs and fundraise. Wages are the largest component of our expenditure, and even though we have so many unpaid workers who volunteer, we still need to pay a lot of wages. My finance team has continued to do management accounts throughout the year with careful analysis of income and expenditure changes. We've produced the budgets for the year 2021 with the best and worst case scenarios. As everyone is aware, in these COVID times, we really don't know what the next year will bring. But I can say for certainty, the federal and state governments have aided National Council tremendously with JobKeeper, PAYG stimulus grants and Victorian government grants. In community services, our cash reserves are still very healthy. We have approximately $1.7 million, which is largely reserved for our amazing building project. So I'll move on from community services surplus of $138,000 to a deficit in Victoria. National Council Jewish Women Victoria's financial results 19 to 20 showed a loss of $65,000. This is largely due to a decrease in membership funds by $5,000 and the cancellation of Melbourne Theatre Company season and the cancellation of the International Women's Day event due to COVID. Membership continues to be a problem affecting not only National Council but all membership type organisations. Victoria still has cash reserves of around $30,000 compared to $32,000 in the previous year. As I said last year, it's always a great concern of how to get Victoria to achieve a balanced budget. The answer again is to probably accept that we can't. Victoria does not have DGR, the ability to give a tax-deductible receipt for donations. However, Victoria does have a huge role to play in our advocacy mission, such as our campaign for gender equality. The pledge has been an enormous success and highlights the great work of National Council for Jewish Women in Victoria. Having said that, I'm now moved to the Social Support Trust. Financial results of the Social Support Trust in 2019 to 20 shows a surplus of $23,000 compared to the previous year loss of $53,000. So that's amazing. This was largely due to several large donations and an increase in government grants income. This is extremely pleasing. It should be noted that Social Support Trust financial figures also show an income item of donated services of around $277,000 with a corresponding contra expense of the same amount of that as an expense. This is the same item as in community services, showing the value of our volunteers. In the Social Support Trust, our cash reserves are extremely healthy. We've got $110,000, and it comprises of donations and grants which must be directed specifically to these programs. Our programs are expanding, and this will be reflected in our costs. It should also be mentioned that this year is the first one to adopt the new accounting standard of income recognition. We always have accounting standards in accounting. Consequently, we defer recognising grant and donation revenue where specific conditions are attached to the grant or the donation that has not been satisfied. The Social Support Trust has deferred revenue of $20,000 for the year 2020. As part of planned IT transformation, we began the process of developing a style guide, contemporary website, and dedicated customer relationship management system for the organisation. Combined expenditure for all this was around $145,000 and has been recognised as an intangible asset. We have budgeted for additional expenditure to complete this transformation in 2020-21 financial year. Expenditure for the building and the upgrade of the IT infrastructure weighs heavily on the minds of my finance team. National Council Victoria has grown so much in the last 5 years that we need to improve the ways of processing our data and our receipts. This upgrade is significant but essential for our organisation to run properly, smoothly, efficiently, and legally. At National Council, we've been very mindful of the impact of COVID pandemic for the future financial years and closely monitoring and curtailing expenditure where possible. As it is not mandatory for our organisation to have an audit, we decided to reduce our expenses by conducting a review rather than an audit of our financial statements for the 2019-20 financial year. A review of reports on the plausibility of the financial statements is undertaken so that the accountants can report to the members whether they are aware of anything that would suggest that the financial reports do not meet legal requirements and financial reporting standards, and they didn't find anything. And once again, I would like to congratulate our CEO, Leanne Basso, and her magnificent staff. They all work tirelessly for our organisation. Personally, I would like to really recognise our new finance officer, who I know is standing up and clapping. Michelle has already shown herself to be extremely professional and competent as a great addition to the team, and they helped me personally. I also like to thank our risk expert, Justin Greenstein, who has helped National Council with our financial risk management and has been an enormous asset to us. He's worked with our board member, Leslie Burr, in producing a manual detailing our accounting risk and financial management. This document will be very valuable for future financial guidance of National Council. Before I conclude, I have to wholeheartedly thank National Council Board. The whole board, and in particular our magnificent President, Miriam Bass, are all remarkable. I don't think a single day goes by without Miriam doing something for National Council. She is truly devoted and admired by all of us. It is with some sadness that I'll be retiring from my position as Treasurer of National Council at this AGM. I've thoroughly enjoyed the past 8 years as board member and my involvement in major financial accomplishments. I have obtained DGR for the Social Support Trust. I paid off loans and buying and selling property, upgrading our financial system, achieving our budget targets, improving our budgeting and financial controls, ceasing non-viable activities such as the bus service and op shop. And some of that stuff I had to do screaming and yelling and to get it done, but it's been done. I've also grown professionally and now feel very confident of how to get DGR for not-for-profit charities. I can remember my very first day at National Council, meeting Vivian Brass, OAM, and Shirley Glantz, OAM. They were so happy and welcome to see me as their new treasurer. I became known as the new treasurer who wrote emails at 2 a.m. I'm happy to say that the new treasurer, Leslie Burr, will not have to work through the night. As I've been invited to remain a member of the Finance Committee, I will still remain involved in National Council Victoria. I'm proud to be a member of such a strong and progressive organisation and happy to have the opportunity to continue to contribute. Finally, on behalf of the board, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank and express our gratitude to our accountants, Greenberg and Co, and especially Jay Greenberg, who has worked on our financial statements at a discounted rate. I look forward to another year of working with National Council Victoria. And I want to ask, are there any questions? And if so, please put them in the Q&A box. Leanne, are there any questions?
No, there are no questions, Hannah.
Oh, this is a big difference from my first year. I think Sylvia Gelman was my very first question when I joined.
Wait a minute. You have from Melinda Jones, the National President. Congratulations, great job.
Oh, that's very nice. Thank you. Okay, if there's no further questions, I'm going to move my report as a true and accurate record of the financial activities of the association, and Leslie Burr has agreed to second it. So please vote now if you have not already done so in the buddy. It's been carried. And so now I'm going to hand it back to Miriam.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you. So now we move on to the President's Award. This year's recipient of the NCJWA Victoria President's Award is a tireless worker, strategic thinker, and passionate advocate for our organisation. Her impact as Treasurer has been enormous. Her first task, as she already alluded to, was like first day on the job, was to obtain DGR status for our Social Support Trust. Not having done anything like that before was no deterrent to her, and the rest, as they say, is history. 8 years ago, our financial systems were underdeveloped and we didn't have any basis to prepare budgets, and obtaining reliable financial management reports, rather, was a strain. Today, after countless hours, as she said, both day and night and very early mornings, she spent hours whipping things into shape, and now they're all in place. She also identified about the paying off of loans that she mentioned. In those days, we were paying 7% on our loans, which is like fantasy land these days. She was instrumental in helping us resolve non-financially viable activities. Her latest contributions have been during this pandemic to ensure that we got all those federal and state government financial assistance packages that we possibly could, so that we can continue assisting our program participants who need our help even more so now. She's vigilant monitoring our expenses and cash flow, but she's actually not afraid to spend when there is a long-term benefit and gains from that. I can remember when we took the plunge to hire our very first general manager 6 years ago, and Hannah's words. Her views and knowledge of our finances are second to none. She knows more about the movement of our money before the banks even made the transactions into our bank accounts. She's on the job every single day, watching payments, approving payments, watching the cash in and out, and also watching our term deposits like a hawk, and looking everywhere to get another point something on our term deposits. She's hands-on, but she's not as hands-on now with our new finance officer, Michelle. She won't let her. Apart from her financial involvement, she's participated in ICJW conference in Sydney, national conferences in Melbourne, and our trip to National Council in the US, where we went to Los Angeles and Washington Institute, even though she really dislikes those sort of things. She always says, I'll go if you want me to. I'll go if you want me to. And then she goes and participates as a strong advocate for National Council Victoria. She's also been an amazing support on a personal level, not only to me, but to other board members. I am delighted to award the 2020 President's Award to Hannah Greenberg in appreciation of her exceptional dedication and unwavering commitment to National Council. And Hannah got a certificate, there she goes with the certificate to acknowledge this award. Fantastic. Well done, Hannah, you deserve it. Okay, now I'd like to move on to the Sylvia Gelman Award. And I'll like to introduce Nina Bassett, member of National Council Victoria and former president of the JCCV and the ECAJ, and Di Hirsch, member of the National Council Victoria and a previous president, who are members of the selection panel for the Sylvia Gelman Award, which is for outstanding achievement by a women educator in any area of Jewish education in Victoria. This year, the selection committee, and also comprising of Ziva Shavitsky, advised the field of candidates was so strong that there are actually 2 awardees this year. So let's hear from Nina and Di, and from the recipients of this award.
If you were very fortunate, at some stage you may have studied with a teacher who made a significant impact on your life. Sylvia Gelman was such a teacher. Former students speak with love and respect of their time under Sylvia's tutelage, and she's remembered not only as a gifted teacher, but also as a fair and understanding headmistress. Because the field of nominees for this year's Sylvia Gelman Award was particularly strong, Ziva Shavitsky, Diane Hirsch and I have chosen 2 joint recipients, both of whom follow the wonderful tradition of Sylvia and all the previous recipients of this prestigious award. I feel privileged to be making the presentation to one of this year's recipients, Freddie Marocchi, an outstanding educator. Freddie has been a gifted educationalist for many years. She has taught Yiddish at King David's School, Mount Scopus College, and Shalom Aleichem. She has been a leading Yiddish teacher in Melbourne, being largely instrumental in bringing about the rebirth of the language, including the study of Yiddish as a BCE subject. It is not an exaggeration to say that her influence has gone well beyond the formal school system in ensuring that Mamelushn continues to be a part of the Melbourne Jewish community. She has been very involved in Yiddish theatre. She has worked in aged care collecting Yiddish songs and poems, and she has been a member of Klasmania, the band that has given so much joy to so many people, both Yiddish speakers and non-Yiddish speakers. She has in fact revived Yiddish as an integral part of Jewish life in Melbourne. In addition, Freddie Marocchi introduced the singing of the partisan song in the Yom HaShoah commemoration at Mount Scopus College, not only teaching Year 7 students to sing the song, but also teaching them the importance and significance of it. She has also participated as an educator in the March of the Living. Freddie has done all this with an unmatchable enthusiasm and energy, which makes everything she does interesting and engaging. It gives me great pleasure to present the 2020 Sylvia Gelman Award, albeit in absentia, to Freddie Marocchi. Mazel tov and all the best, Freddie.
Teire Chavates and Chaveirim. I'm at heart a Yiddishist, a third-generation Bundist raised in a Yiddish-speaking home in the white-bread suburb of Balmoral, far from Melbourne's Jewish heartland. Yet I came alive on Sundays, spent elsewhere. On Sunday afternoons, I attended SCIF, the Bundist youth movement. But Sunday mornings from the age of 5, Mum schlepped the many miles from Balmoral to Carlton to the E.L. Peretz Yiddish School. It was here by chance, when I was 8 years old, that Chana Coleman-Mahotsky first revealed herself to me to be no mere chauffeur or mother, but a dynamic, extraordinary teacher who brought to life the power and wonder of Yiddish literature and culture, and who also had the gift of making a profound difference in the lives of her many students. I shall never be able to thank her enough. And I must thank so many, especially for a career mostly led at Shalom Aleichem College, literally my second home. The countless teachers and academics who inspired me, my colleagues and role models across numerous schools, principals and heads of departments who had faith in me, my husband Les and our 4 children who put up with me, and my students who for 40 years challenged me to do better and be better and fired my imagination. I spent an incredible 10 years teaching high school Yiddish at Mount Scopus College, an unlikely appointment driven by Johnny Baker, Charles Sluky and Hilton Rubin. Here I was mentored by wonderful colleagues in the Lot department and also came under the protective wing of Avi Cohen, head of Jewish studies, who firmly believed that Yiddish had a valued place in enriching students' appreciation of their Jewish identity and heritage. So thank you, Avi, and thank you, National Council of Jewish Women, for the honour you've bestowed not only on me, but on the teaching of Yiddish itself. Ashenim und großen Dank.
The Sylvia Gelman Award was established in 2004 during my term as Victorian President in honour of Sylvia's remarkable lifelong contribution to education, women's issues and the Jewish community. She was a wonderful role model to me and for countless people within the Jewish community and also the broader community. The criteria for the Sylvia Gelman Award are for women who have demonstrated excellence in their contribution to Jewish education, especially in Victoria, who have demonstrated leadership in the area of Jewish education, have an academic background relating to Jewish education, and have communal involvement in education of the broader Jewish community. One of the awardees tonight has been a teacher of Jewish studies, Hebrew literature, bilingual humanities, a curriculum leader of primary Hebrew and Jewish studies, and for the past 10 years has been head of Jewish studies and Hebrew for primary and early learning, the Early Learning Centre and creche at Bialik College. She facilitates School to Filah program and has developed a new Tanakh curriculum. She also facilitates professional learning both within the college and at conferences and hosts many Shabbatonim. One of her former students has said she is the best Hebrew teacher that he ever had. I'm very pleased to announce an awardee for the Sylvia Gelman Award for 2020 is Tali Bar Wanders.
Hi everyone, thank you for the nomination for this year's Sylvia Gelman Award for an outstanding woman educator in the area of Jewish studies in Victoria. I'm honoured to be one of the recipients of this award. This is a great honour and I'm humbled by the recognition. I never met Sylvia Gelman Zal, but when I researched who she was, I learned that she was a strong and great educator and advocate for women's issues. I've been teaching Hebrew and Jewish studies in Melbourne for many years. I believe that our job as educators is to connect our students to their heritage and their Jewish traditions. Furthermore, I believe that our faith in diaspora is determined by our commitment to Jewish education. I would like to quote Rabbi Jonathan Sachs from his book, From Optimism to Hope. Teachers open our eyes to the world. They give us curiosity and confidence. They teach us to ask questions. They connect us to our past and future. They are the guardians of our social heritage. We have lots of heroes today. We can have sportsmen or media personalities. They come and they go. They have the 15 minutes of fame and then we don't hear from them. But the influence of a good teacher stays with us. They are the people who really shape our life. Thank you very much.
Ali, congratulations to both you and Frady on the award. And I can hear Sylvia's voice in my head. And what she would say is, don't forget when our office, she wouldn't say when the office is open, but when our office is reopened, you will get your name on a leaf in the Tree of Life in our office, and also you have your name on the plaque. So congratulations to you both, and I'm really sorry about the video. We'll now move on to the Fanny Reading Award. A little background about this for the guests here tonight, and I note there's like about 122 people who are online. We never get that when it's an in-person one, so that's wonderful. So the Fanny Reading Award was something which the National Council Juniors in Sydney endowed for Hebrew language in 1947 to the University of Melbourne. Through their gift, these National Council women made an enduring impact which still continues today. The funds raised so many years ago are held in trust and invested by the University of Melbourne. This award is endowed for the purpose of fostering Hebrew and Jewish studies and is awarded to the student or students who have achieved the highest mark overall studying beginners, intermediate or advanced Hebrew language subjects and enrolled in the degree of Bachelor of Arts, whether at pass or honours level, or another university award course, including but not limited to the Diploma of Modern Languages. So I'd now like to hand over. Oh, I'm sorry. Just before I move on to that, there is a message from Michelle Kornberg to Frady. Michelle says, Mazel Tov, Frady, she's so deserving and so very inspirational. Sorry about that. Okay, so now I'm going to hand over to the video of for the Fanny Reading Award, and Dr. Davir Abramovich will be presenting the award in his capacity as Director of the Program in Jewish Culture and Society at the University of Melbourne, and he will present the award to Nechama Rusinek.
Hi everyone. It always feels like home to be with the National Council of Jewish Women Family, and it's always a joy to be with the great women and leaders of this wonderful organization who are the bedrock of our community. I've always been inspired by the incredible contribution you're all making in lifting people up, in how you roll up your sleeves every day and improve the lives of so many. So I'm here to celebrate your fine deeds and to say Kol HaKavod to the NCJW team, to my friend Miriam Bass, Leon Bassa, and the talented and dynamic executive. The Fanny Reading Scholarship in Hebrew language is now in its 73rd year. In 1947, the National Council of Jewish Women of Australia presented to the University of Melbourne the sum of £600 to endow a scholarship to perpetuate the name of Dr. Fanny Reading, the founder of the National Council. In 2015, when I was asked to write an article for a special edition of the University of Melbourne's Meanjin Literary magazine to celebrate its 75th year, I felt compelled to include Dr. Fanny Reading. I wrote, and I quote, "It is crucial to recognize the wide-ranging impact made by spirited Jewish women who paved the way for others, like the pioneering Dr. Fanny Reading, who established in 1923 the Council of Jewish Women." End of quote. My connection and admiration to the National Council of Jewish Women is profound in so many ways, not just because of the tremendous legacy that you are building for future generations, but because of my friend and colleague, Professor Ziva Shavitsky, who sends her warmest regards. Ziva, as you all know, is the inaugural winner of the Sylvia Gelman Award, another towering figure who has set an example for all of us to follow. I deeply miss Sylvia. She always modeled what it means to be a good citizen, a warrior woman, and a great Jew. The University of Melbourne is the only university in Victoria teaching Hebrew language and literature, and I'm very proud to present the Fanny Reading Scholarship to my student Nechama Rusinek, who I know the late Dr. Fanny Reading would have been very proud of. Nechama is one of those rare students who always comes into our class with a shimmering smile on her face, ready to learn, and who loves poetry, whether it is Rachel, or Bialik, or Chernichovsky, or Amichai. Nechama is highly intelligent, dedicated, and passionate about Hebrew. She is infused with enthusiasm, and she possesses an infectious positive attitude. She has been a great asset to our class discussions. So, it is my immense pleasure to congratulate Nechama on this great honor and to say Mazal Tov on receiving the Fanny Reading Award. You deserve it, Nechama. I look forward to seeing you all in person next year. Until then, stay well. Kol Tuv V'Litraot.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nechama Rusinek, and I am the recipient of the Dr. Fanny Reading Scholarship in Hebrew for the 2019 academic year. I am currently studying a Bachelor of Arts at the University of Melbourne, and I'm working towards a double major in criminology and Hebrew. Learning and speaking Hebrew also deepens and enriches my personal connection to Judaism and to the land of Israel. I've been able to debate contemporary and historical issues from Jewish and Israeli society with people from all walks of life, and this broadens my horizons and ability to debate these problems. I would like to thank the team at the National Council of Jewish Women of Australia for presenting me with this award tonight and for recognising the importance of studying Hebrew at tertiary level. And I would also like to thank my teacher, Dr. Dvir Abramovich, for nominating me as the recipient of this award. My message to anybody considering studying Hebrew next year or in future years at university is to do it, take the plunge, learn Hebrew, connect with other young Jewish people, and really deepen your connection to the land of Israel and to the nation.
So now I would like to thank our retiring board members, Hannah Greenberg and Debbie Strauch, and thank them for their service. As you've heard, Hannah joined the board 8 years ago, being specifically recruited, I think it might have been coerced, for the role of treasurer, which she has held since that time. She was a proud member of both the board and the finance committee, and has also demonstrated her nerves of steel during audit time. Debbie Strauch came to the board in 2011 for a look, just one meeting, according to then President Vivian Brass. And then look what happened. She has been a member of the events, finance and development committees, as well as the board, run countless events, and is always the one we call on to do the nice speeches, which she does so well. She can also be relied upon to go to external meetings to ably represent National Council Victoria, and I'll say more about Debbie's contribution later. I'd like to personally thank Debbie and Hannah for their incredible support to me in my role. Their respect, care, thoughtfulness and intelligence shown in so many ways is just simply remarkable. I could not have had a better support team, and thank you so much for everything. So to show you a token of our appreciation, those beautiful bunches of flowers that you can see, Debbie, the back of Debbie and next to Hannah, is what we sent to say thank you. People are sending me messages. Okay. We might do them, for all those people that are sending messages, we might continue on, and then towards the end, we'll collect them all up and repeat them in general business. I think that would be nice. Anyway, thank you, Hannah and Debbie. So now I'm going to move on to say thank you to Leanne Basser for her contribution as CEO. Tonight is Leanne's last major event in her role as CEO, as she steps down in mid-September to enjoy a more restful period in her life, and hopefully, when things allow, to do some more travel. Although we'll have another celebration to honour Leanne in September, tonight I'd like to thank Leanne for her contribution to National Council, which includes lifting our profile, building a fantastic team of staff, including Robin Davis, who I forgot to mention earlier. I'm so sorry, I skipped over your name. So Leanne's lifted our profile. She's built a fabulous team. She's lifted the quality and profile of our signature events, the Minna Fink Lecture and the Fanny Reading Human Rights Lecture. She's managed the expansion of our programs, raised our success rate with our grant applications, and most recently oversaw the pivot of our activities online because of COVID. On a personal note, I'd also like to thank Leanne for our wonderful partnership, as well as her hard work. This wasn't just a job for Leanne. We also got her heart and her soul. Thank you, Leanne, for your contributions. And I think you got a nice bunch of non-scented flowers because Leanne doesn't like smelly flowers. Thank you for your contribution, and I hope you enjoyed the flowers as a small gesture of our thanks, and we'll make more of a fuss of you later at your farewell function in the middle of September. Okay, I think I will move on to our next item, which is the nomination of Debbie Strouch for Honorary Life membership. I hope all Debbie's family and friends are still online, because I'm going to read something nice about you, Debbie, without crying, I think. So this year, the board has developed clear criteria for awarding Honorary Life membership of our association. A candidate for Honorary Life membership should, in our view, display good character and commitment to the values and principles of National Council, display good leadership and role modelling, which brings credit to our organisation, and have made a substantial and valuable contribution to National Council Victoria, which goes beyond the normal role of an ordinary member. The board tonight is nominating Debbie Strouch for Honorary Life membership of NCJWA Victoria, as we believe she more than meets these criteria. Debbie joined National Council Board in 2011 following her move from Sydney to Melbourne. Over the past 9 years, Debbie has served as board member under 3 presidents, Viv Brass, Shirley Glantz, and me. Debbie has served as Vice President from 2014 to 2020, and where she has represented the community at various forums. And she has on occasions also acted as President. She's been a constant support to me and provided me with wise counsel and friendship, and at other times a damn good laugh. She also played the role of secretary between 2012 to 2014, which is a bit boring, but it's a compliance role and we have to do it to meet our obligations, and she did that. Then Debbie's also been a member of our finance committee from 2016 to 2020. Are you crying yet? No, not yet. All right. So her role at the finance committee was to support the treasurer to ensure that correct payments are made on time with appropriate supporting documentation and authorisation. This key role requires consistency of effort, an eye for detail and vigilance. And I've got to tell you, nothing gets past her without proper documentation and that everything adds up. Debbie's also been a foundation member of the Development Committee from 2015 to 2020. And her achievements in this area include facilitating the relationship which resulted in our 2020 special cocktails, as well as our 90th anniversary celebration being hosted by Jeannie Pratt at Raheen. Debbie chaired the Circle of Women from 2014 to 2020. Her achievements in this role include recruiting supporters to join the Circle of Women and regularly engaging with the members of the Circle to maintain their interest and connection. She herself has been a philanthropic supporter and a member of our Circle of Women since 2014. And together with her husband, Leon, was a major supporter of our annual Giving Day in 2018. In terms of events, many people would know Debbie as a National Council leader to her capabilities in this area. There actually wouldn't be, I don't think there's any event that Debbie has not been involved in over the past 9 years, whether it's been as a coordinator, manning the front desk, enlisting volunteers, organising catering and all gifts, thanking speakers, or being a kitchen hand. No job is too small for Deb. And she undertakes all jobs with that gorgeous smile. She has even managed the catering logistics for the annual Women's Seder every year since 2013, providing a Seder dinner for up to 90 women and girls with various dietary requirements. We all know what that's like. Debbie initiated the Brain Food series of informal lectures and visits to cultural institutions to stimulate and educate members on issues of concern or interest to women. Our membership survey in 2017 cited brain food as one of Victorian members' most valued activity. Every year, except for this one, Debbie has assisted Joanne Gubiewski to run the successful Bridge Day fundraising event, which has raised considerable funds for our Caring Mums program. Debbie organises real and relatable Jewish women role models to speak at the Bat Mitzvah to the Bat Mitzvah students, which is our program in partnership with UJIB, which is a year-long program of study. They're with us for term 4. Student feedback suggests that their term at National Council is always the most favoured part of the program, as they value being exposed to real, diverse and memorable modern Jewish women, and they love our afternoon teas. Debbie was also National Council's representative in establishing the partnership with Tzedek and Pathways that presented the popular Shesh event in 2018, and this event was also presented again last year. This event showcased a variety of speakers that appealed to a different cohort in the community and extended National Council's reach to a different audience. Debbie's also been involved in activities beyond Victoria. She attended federal conferences of our organisation in 2015, 17 and 19, and was awarded the Fanny Reading Scholarship for Emerging Leaders in 2015. In 2018, Debbie attended the ICJW conference in Sydney, and in 2013, she participated in the National Council trip to Israel to visit the projects that we supported there at that time. No wonder she's getting off the board. She's tired from all of this, I think. In summary, National Council Victoria has been demonstrably changed by Debbie's membership. Firstly, as a valued member of the board through the transformation of National Council Victoria, as well as her leading role in events and fundraising. She's helped raise the profile of National Council through the events and programs with which she has been involved. And she has maintained the Circle of Women as an important source of philanthropic support to the organisation. She is a fine ambassador for our organisation. The board unanimously supports the nomination of Debbie Strauch, I think she's crying now, to be elected as Honorary Life Member. This motion is moved by me, I wanted to do that, and has been seconded by Helen Lewin. And we would like you now, members, voting members, to cast your vote in support of Debbie's nomination as Honorary Life Member. Could we please have the voting slide up again? It seems like that motion was carried. So I would now like to hand over to Debbie to say a few words.
Thank you, Miriam, and my wonderful fellow board members. I have so many people to thank on the journey that has led to this honour from an organisation that I respect so much. Leaders inspire others to look up to them by telling the truth, being in integrity with what they promise, and living honestly and earnestly. When others take pride in their leaders and their organisation, inspiration follows close behind. I have served on 3 boards at NCJWA Vic, and while all the women on these boards were part of the journey, there are 3 in particular I would like to single out. Vivian Brass, Shirley Glantz, and Miriam Bass. 3 extraordinary presidential women who nurtured me and dragged me up through the board process. They protected me until I was ready to be pushed out of the nest. Their shoulders are the ones that I have climbed on. As well, in the 10 years I have been on the National Council Victoria Board, I have met amazing people, made many lifelong friends, and learned more than I could have in a lifetime of governance courses. On a personal note, there are people in my life without whom I wouldn't be receiving this award. First and foremost, my husband Leon. He has fitted in to my schedule for years, so I could go to meetings on weeknights, attend functions on weekends, and even change trips so we could return early from overseas for AGMs. I have celebrated my birthday at least once at an AGM, and I have spent his birthday ringing for fundraising. He is my biggest fan and supported everything I've done. He is even a member of the National Council in Victoria and attends all functions possible, sometimes being one of few men there. My children, Jacqueline and Martin, who understand the importance of doing something for no money, no kudos, and no reason except it's the right thing to do. Charity is not just about giving money, and they have both seen this from a very early age. They are the next generation of volunteers and will in turn influence their own children to do the same. My sister Perry and parents David and Denise, my aunt Jean and cousins Fiona and Eloise, my stepsons Justin and Jesse. Thank you all for being such positive influences in my life. And my friends who have supported National Council just because they are my friends. Thank you to everyone I have worked with, played with, and laughed and cried with. Thank you to those who have inspired me, motivated me, and had faith in me. Without you, I wouldn't be receiving this great honour tonight.
Let's move on to the election of board members and office bearers. And I would like to call on Sharon Milner, who is acting as our returning officer tonight. Sharon's a member of our governance committee, and I'd like Sharon to conduct the election of board members and office bearers. So over to you, Sharon.
Thank you, Miriam, and good evening, everyone. Firstly, I'll address the motion regarding the re-election of Karen Stock to the board for a further term of 2 years. Under our rules 20.3, which states no board members shall serve more than 3 terms, 6 years, unless otherwise determined by resolution of the members at a general meeting. Karen Stock is standing for re-election for a further term of 2 years. Karen has been a board member for 6 years and is currently serving as chair of the building committee and has been chair since 2014. With her experience in property development and community fundraising, she has led the building committee through the complex negotiations with our community partner and kept the project moving forward and on track. As we move to the design phase, the board believes that Karen's skills and experience with the project to date are required to steer the project through the next phase. I therefore put forward the motion to re-elect Karen Stock, board member, for a further term of 2 years in accordance with section 20.3 of the rules of the association. This has been moved by Miriam Bass and seconded by Helen Lewin. If there are any questions, please put them in the Q&A box.
There are no questions, Sharon, in relation to this issue.
Thanks, Leanne. So please now vote at Election Buddy if you have not already voted, and if we could please have the voting slide up. The motion has been carried. I'll now move on to the re-election of board members whose term has been completed. Under our rules, board members are required to be re-elected every 2 years. Accordingly, nominations from those whose terms have been completed and are restanding for election have been received from Anna Seri, Helen Lewin, Sally Davis and Karen Stock. As no other nominations for these positions have been received, I declare the nominees elected unopposed. Congratulations. The third matter relates to the election of new board members. With the retirement from the board tonight of Miriam Bass, Hannah Greenberg and Debbie Strauch, and the vacancy caused by the resignation of Morand Veer in February, means that there are 4 board vacancies. We've received 2 nominations for these positions from Lila Raskin and Kate Moore. As no other nominations for these vacancies have been received, I declare Lila and Kate to be elected to the board unopposed. Congratulations, Lila and Kate, and I'll hand back to Miriam now.
So congratulations, Lila and Kate, on being elected to the board. And it's our tradition when every new board member and also our new CEO gets a copy of the National Council the whole history of National Council in Australia for a good reference. So I'm not sure if it was posted or whatever, but you'll be getting one of those, and it's a great reference for you. I'd now like to read the bios of Lila and Kate, so everybody can be impressed at our wonderful new board members. So Kate Moore is a director of the Murdoch Children's Research Institute and chair of its development board, and a founding member of the United States Development Board. With a bachelor's degree in arts and law from Monash, Kate practiced commercial law and specialised in workplace relations law before heading to an in-house role as legal counsel for Swinburne University. Her legal experience is currently focused on advising Body Care Workplace Solutions, which is a workplace injury, health and safety consulting firm. Kate's greatest passion is her family, and much of her time is devoted to her 3 sons. Kate's also a passionate supporter of many charities and not-for-profits, and has been involved in a hands-on capacity over the years, including sitting on the board of Kids in Philanthropy and event planning for Mount Scopus and the Jewish Museum of Australia. Kate will also be joining the Development Committee as well as the board. And Lila. Lila is a chartered accountant and director in PwC's financial assurance practice, with 13 years experience, including a 2-year secondment to PwC's Zurich office. She's been a member of National Council Victoria's Finance Committee for the past year. With a Bachelor of Commerce from Melbourne University, Lila brings technical accounting knowledge, financial governance and acumen, as well as experience in senior stakeholder management from her role leading projects in the private sector. Lila is a proud member of the Melbourne Jewish community and is passionate about women's issues and diversity and advocating for gender equality. She's been an active member of her business unit's Diversity and Inclusion Committee and acted as a role model to and advocate for young female professionals. Now, Lila is now elected to the board, having previously been a co-opted member, filling the casual vacancy. She'll continue as a member of the Finance Committee, which she joined last year. Congratulations to you both. And back to you, Sharon.
Thank you, Miriam. Finally, we move to the election of the President and office bearers. Under our rules, office bearers are required to be re-elected every year. Accordingly, the following nominations have been received for election to the respective office bearer positions: from Helen Lewin as President, Judy Hacker as Vice President, Leslie Burr as Treasurer, Sally Davis as Secretary. As no other nominations for these positions have been received, I declare the nominees elected unopposed. Congratulations to you all, and I will now pass you back to Miriam.
So thank you, Sharon, and thank you for acting as our returning officer. You did such a good job. We might give it to you again next year. So I'd like to congratulate the re-elected board members and the new office bearers and wish you every success in your roles. It is now my great pleasure in calling on our new president, Helen Lewin, to address members and supporters. Over to you, Helly.
Thank you for this amazing honour and entrusting me to lead this vibrant and dynamic association. But before I say any more, you've been listening tonight to accolades and thanks being bestowed on people who so well deserve these awards. But more importantly, these awards are being given by a person who, for at least the last 4 years and for some time before that, then worked tirelessly and selflessly for the benefit of this association, and who has steadily supported, led and inspired a strong and skilled board to build a professional organisation, and now with a much heightened profile. This person is Miriam Bass, now retiring, but will become our immediate past president, so not gone quite yet. I'd like to acknowledge and pay tribute to her. That will be only an underestimation of the incredible value she's given to this association, resulting in the remarkable organisation that it has become. Miriam, as I've said to you before, you've left very large shoes for me to fill, and I can only hope that I can live up to the standard that you've set. 4 years ago, Miriam embarked on a journey to set a strategic direction for this association, to drive it to the next level by enhancing the delivery of our programs and activities, putting in place robust structures for finance, risk management and governance, while focusing on our mission to advance the lives of women and girls. And in these COVID pandemic times, has met the challenges with innovative responses. Her unwavering support for the board and for the people who work for National Council Victoria has seen this association be the first in the community instrumental in shining a light on gender equality through its campaign, #MakeASpaceForHer. That puts a focus on the massive underrepresentation of women in communal leadership roles and sparked a healthy discussion in the community, which has resulted in National Council Victoria being invited by Monash University, the first community organisation that is, to participate in a gender research project that will provide a benefit for our advocacy team to work to increase women's participation in leadership roles, as well as enhance the visibility of women in the Jewish community, which is totally in tune with our mission for women and human rights. Miriam has been unstoppable in her pursuit to secure new premises for National Council and to successfully negotiate an arrangement that will result in National Council Victoria occupying new premises in the very near future. She's been resolute in leaving no stone unturned and ensuring that the board has examined every aspect of this arrangement and considered all risks. She's worked untiringly for many years and leaves National Council Victoria as an effective, finely tuned and robust association on a journey of growth with a strong, skilled board, an authoritative strategic plan and a new generation of supporters. Thank you, Miriam. Kol hakavod. I feel honoured to take on the presidency of National Council Victoria, and I want to acknowledge the long history of the association and the many great women that have led National Council since its beginning in 1927. There is a rich history of the tremendous work undertaken over the years, many of those being quite difficult, and the enormous achievements that have been made by National Council Victoria. I aim to continue the journey of growth, see the next phase of National Council's transformation delivered, expand our reach and grow our supporters. We are living in unusual times, but powering through these challenges, even though there are often daily changes, not only by wearing our masks and social distancing, but meeting the challenges head on and embracing technology, reaping those benefits. COVID and the lockdown has increased the isolation of many of our senior members and supporters and imposed a significant additional burden on others, in particular, our next gen group of younger women whose members and supporters are also mothers, carers and individuals, homeschooling, caring for others, children or parents, and for many also working from home. We've responded to these new challenges and we are now delivering our programs for seniors, caring mums and the JAM project, as well as our events and activities online and in innovative ways. We've made these changes almost overnight. That's how fast we responded. Our programs are being delivered using technologies that we've tailored to every cohort. We're communicating with our members and supporters, letting them know what we're doing, how we're doing it, and we will continue to do so. We've seen the success of these innovations and we will continue with these approaches into the future with or without COVID. Communication is the key and we found new and novel ways to stay connected. I'm excited about taking on the role as President of National Council, particularly as I have a fabulous board of passionate and dedicated women, a new CEO and just amazing staff. I look forward to working with them all, moving National Council Victoria forward and continuing to power women and girls for a better world, deliver innovative programs and activities, connect to the community, advocate for women and gender equality, enthuse volunteers and support Israelis in ways aligned to our mission. This is to a great future and continuing to make a difference. Back to you, Miriam.
Thank you, Helen. That was a surprise. Thank you for those very kind words. I appreciate it. And mazel tov to you and good luck for your presidency. I'm sure you'll do really well. Now it's general business and I've asked Leanne to put together all the comments and questions that are in the Q&A box after it. But Leanne, if I can throw to you, please, and if you can
With pleasure, Miriam. I start with Dan Straight, who says, Mazel tov, a huge mazel tov to Tali. Kol hakavod for a very well-deserved award. Attempting to calculate the number of students your teaching and departmental oversight has directly impacted is incredibly difficult. I suspect it would be in the thousands. You're an inspiration for students and staff alike. Jeremy Stolinna says, Mazel tov to the wonderful Tali. We are all so proud of you, Jeremy Bialik College Principal. Someone who's anonymous has said, congratulations to Nechama for your award. We're also very proud of you. Elliot Jackson says, go Debbie. Karen Freed says, Mazel tov to Tali from the entire staff of Bialik in recognition of a truly inspirational leader, educator, colleague and friend to all. Susie Ivany says, Mazel tov to both of you. She means the Sylvia Gelman awardees, and good luck for your future endeavours. Nicole Silverberg says, Mazel tov Debbie Strauch. Your contribution to National Council of Jewish Women of Victoria will always be remembered. Debbie Gerbloom says something very similar, an amazing journey and so well deserved. You should read this one really, but anyway, Leanne, I presume, someone called Leanne, and I'm presuming it is Leanne. I'm going to have a blank, Miriam.
Bookman, you mean Bookman?
Thank you. Says Mazel tov to me, wishing you all the best, looking forward to catching up. Karen Stock has a similar message. Adrian Strouch says the important ones are, I'm assuming that's in relation to Debbie. Fiona Gaminda says, Mazel tov Deb, we're so proud of your fantastic achievement at NCJWA Vic. Lots of love, Jeannie, Fiona, Ruffy, Eloise, John, and Anthony, Claudine, and the Pratt Gaminda and Weislitz families. Pretty special day. Perry Jackson says, well done from your very proud sister and brother-in-law. And Karen Stock also congratulates Debbie on her amazing contribution. Cheryl Sullivan similarly says, well done, Debbie, you truly deserve this recognition. Debbie Gerbloom sends congratulations to Kate Moore. Now this is a special one for you, Miriam. This is from Catherine Reiser. Well, it's actually to all of us, now that I read a bit further than the first three words. Thank you, Miriam, Helen, Debbie, Leanne, and everyone at the National Council for your support of the observership program and for your mentorship of the many observers who have learned from and been able to contribute to such a great organisation. I've got tears in my eyes. Masha Lewis, Justin Greenstein, Shayla Kadrick, Kelly Hartman, and Nicole Gandel have all provided the observership program with overwhelmingly positive feedback of their time observing your board. We appreciate all you have done to build board capacity in the not-for-profit sector by helping prepare our observers for future board roles. Miriam, thank you for modelling such inspiring leadership. We will miss you and look forward to our ongoing partnership with the National Council of Jewish Women of Australia and Victoria. Warmest, Catherine Reiser, Director, Melbourne Observership Program.
That's lovely.
Nina Bassat congratulates everyone on the election of a formidable board with great depth and diversity. Congratulations and best wishes to the incoming office bearers and the board.
Nice.
Guy Hirsch says Mazel tov to Miriam and the outgoing board. They're a very good tag team. You're a very good tag team, Nina and Di, and also to the incoming board members. Melinda Jones, National President, says, congratulations, Helly. We look forward to a great future. And she wishes Mazel tov to all the award winners, all incredibly powerful women. We are lucky to have such women in the community. Josh Gottlieb says, big congratulations to new board member Lila Raskin. Melinda also says congratulations to Debbie on her Honorary Life membership. And finally, Vivian Brass says muzzle tov to all board members past and present, and to me on your wonderful work over the past years. Congratulations to all well-deserved awardees. And that is the wonderful, wonderful list of comments. Thank you, everybody. Back to Miriam.
That's marvellous. Okay, so any other general business? If anyone's got any questions, I'll wait for a moment if anybody wants to put something else in the Q&A box, and Leanne will catch them up. And while we're waiting, I'll just explain. We have another AGM after this, but don't panic. It's only literally 5 minutes, and it's actually only for the people are welcome to stay on. But it's only for the board members of Victoria, are the members for our community services organisation, and we must have an open annual general meeting. But following that, we will open our social media channels and we can continue to chat, and you can post all your congratulations to everyone or whoever you would like, and make any comments on our social media channels. You know, the usuals: Facebook, Instagram, wherever. We're everywhere now. I'd like to, before going to those any more questions, Leanne, to thank you so very much to our technical team that put this evening together. There's so much that went in. It's so hard doing these things online, much harder than doing it in person. And it could not have happened without these wonderful people: Danielle Rogers, Leanne, Dorit Jaffe, Sivan Presma, Cynthia Anathurai, Helly, and we were to have Michael from McLean's, poor Michael from McLean Sound. We've practiced with him for hours. He had it all sorted, and then a tree fell on his house tonight, and he couldn't work with us. So our team had to make do, and I'm sorry about the sound, but the frozen videos, but they will be available on our Facebook channel. One more thing before going to the questions, any final questions, is the ads. Remember, we always finish with ads. We have our Gender Equality Community of Practice webinar coming up in October. That we've had one already, which was very successful. So we're having another one in October. And in December, our Fanny Redding Human Rights Day lecture. This year we have Iris Stern-Levi from Israel. She's a social activist focused on issues of women's and human rights. She's the co-founder of the not-for-profit organisation Her Academy, which works to provide occupational training for women who are supporters of prostitution and violence. She was meant to come here, but I think it's going to be a Zoom. And follow us on all the socials, and we can continue the conversation. Leanne, has there been any other questions?
There's no question. There's just another message from Leanne Bookman. Mm-hmm. Also, Mazel Tov Miriam, so excited to get my friend back.
And my family as well. That's wonderful. All right. As there are no further items of business, I declare this meeting closed. And we will move straight away to the NCJWA Victoria Community Services Incorporated AGM, the 17th AGM. So remember, there's no voting, only the voting members are the Board of Victoria. So I would like to now hand over to Helly to confirm the minutes of this of the past AGM of this organisation.
Hi everyone again. I'll move the motion that the meeting accepts the minutes of the last AGM as a true and accurate record of the AGM of the association. Sally Davis has agreed to second the motion. Board members have already voted prior to the meeting to accept the minutes, so I think the motion is carried. Back to Miriam.
So I now would like to move that the meeting accepts the annual report of the President, which is the same report as the one before, as a true record of the activities of the association. Debbie Strauch has agreed to second the motion, and board members having voted prior to the meeting to accept my report, I declare the motion is carried. So I will now hand over to Hannah Greenberg to present the Treasurer's report. Over to you, Hannah.
Okay, I move the meeting accepts the annual report, which I've already said, of the Treasurer's true and accurate record of the financial activities of the association. Leslie Burr has agreed to second the motion, and it's been carried.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. Is there any general business, board members? You can put it in the Q&A. Is there anything there, Leanne?
Well, there is. It's actually from the Victoria. It must be a lag with the Q&A. There is a mazel tov from, it says post polio Victoria. I'm assuming it's Shirley.
Yeah.
Lance. Mazel tov to all awardees tonight. Wishing the incoming board mazel tov.
Oh, thank you, Shirley. That's very kind.
And Anne Wallner says, well done all.
That's nice. Okay, so if there's no further questions or general business, I think I will declare the meeting closed at 9:18 and invite everybody to join us on social media for a good mazel tov. And I wish everybody a Shana Tova, if we've still got anybody left. It's dropped quite a bit. But Shana Tova, everybody, and tomorrow we sleep. Thank you, everybody. Good night.